Hello everybody, I'm back. It's our teacher Amy, and today we have Yoda from Star Wars. I am a big Star Wars fan as far as it comes to Yoda, Luke Skywalker, the original movies that I know. So today we're going to draw Yoda, and I would suggest getting your watercolors if you have a set. We're going to need a light green, so you will want to mix your dark green with yellow to get a light green. You also need a tan for Yoda's robe, or you can do brown for the robe, but if you want to make a tan, just mix your brown with your yellow in your lid and get a tan. Actually, you will need brown and yellow, so dark brown on the robe, tan on the middle of the robe. And we've got the light green on his head. You can do a little bit of dark green for a shadow on the top of the head. And then the background's up to you. We can put him in the swamp like in Empire Strikes Back. So that would be, you'll need a tree, and you could have some greens and browns. You can mix a little green, a little brown for your tree back there. And then I would suggest mixing brown and orange for the brown and orange for the bottom of your swamp. And then you can do blue sky, that would be nice. Even maybe a green sky. No, wait, hold on. Yoda is green. I would not do a green sky. Okay, so if you don't have your watercolors yet, I did post it on my website again on the first page, artteacheramy.com, and there's links there where you can go to target.com and pick up a watercolor set, markers. Remember, it's the classic bold, classic bold, broad line that you want, not washable. And you can get your Crayola colored pencils with them also. 24 count for $3. Woohoo! So if you don't have your watercolors today, this would be okay for markers. I would actually suggest colored pencils, which I actually don't have handy right at this second, but again, you'll need your light green, dark green, a brown, a tan, a blue, and maybe again, brown and orange for the ground. So for those of you who have taken my class before, I have not done this in the other videos, but I figured if you would like to pause the video and do the practice sheet, I will hold that up for a minute. So this one we have Yoda's cane, his foot, his part of his cape, and his head. Now most of the time in all of my classes, I do a step-by-step drawing, but we also practice parts of the picture before we do the original, before we draw the entire picture. Now, the other thing, of course, now I know you want to get to drawing, so I'll make this quick, but I always do a quiz, and with my, with Star Wars, with this particular drawing, my questions for you are, can you name some of the planets in the Star Wars movies? Question number one. Okay, the other question is, how many characters can you name? So, of course, I have some written down here, and I will share those with you. And after that, there's another little thing I want to say about Yoda. So, sorry, this is the planets in Star Wars. So did you get any of these right? So we have Tatooine, Jakku, Hoth, Dagobah, Alderaan. I don't know if I can even say that one. Coruscant. There you go. Naboo, Yavin, Endor, and Mustafar. Mustafar? Okay, as far as characters, of course, we have Luke, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, R2-D2, BB-8, Hans, can't forget Han Solo, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Yoda, C-3PO, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Chewbacca, Boba Fett, General Grievous, and I know Oh, Anakin Skywalker, two more I'm missing. So there you go. Did you get some of those? All right, the last question I have for you is, which movie is it where Yoda and Luke are in the swamp and Yoda is teaching Luke how to pull the X-Wing fighter out of the swamp, out of the lake? Because basically that is this scene right here, which is where I got Yoda from, and he's talking to Luke and he says, and I like this quote, he says, Luke says, okay, I'll give it a try. And Yoda says, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. Okay, so grab your pencil, Sharpie, and your drawing paper, and let's get started. Okay, so we have Yoda's head here. Okay, so you want to find out where to put your head. We have a circular shape. Okay, so we have the top of Yoda's head. It is a curve right up here. We're going to draw the head, then we'll go down the body. So figure out how big you want your head. If you want to do a Yoda this size, I would say your head is about this big. You could also make Yoda a little smaller, more room for some background, so it's up to you. I actually like him kind of big. Now you're going to do his ears. He has these obviously really big ears. They stick out like a point, so you're going to curve out, make a point, and curve back towards your head. Same on the other side, curve out, make a point, curve back towards your head. Now maybe they are a little off, so you could, since you're drawing in pencil, you could always take your pencil and erase. Okay, the bottom of your face is going to curve down like this. You're going to curve down, give him a chin, and curve up here. Okay, let's give Yoda some eyes. So right about here, if you'd like, you can make a dot and a dot. Now we're going to do, and it's up to you to make, actually has these eyes with a lot of wrinkles around them. You can make them smaller, or it's kind of nice with them kind of big. So you're going to curve on the bottom and curve on the top and curve on the bottom. It's okay if they're not exactly the same size. We are not perfect when we draw. We don't make everything exactly the same. Okay, you're going to do 2 circles inside the eyes. Then he has a pupil. So put another circle inside, leave a tiny bit of white. Makes it look more realistic. Okay, then he has he's got a lot of wrinkles. Okay, we have 2 curves on top of his eyes. He actually has wrinkles under his eyes, but hold on, before we do those, let's do the nose. So your nose is going to be about here. And you're going to do 2 curves, one on each side of his nose. And you're going to bump up a little bit here and here, and do a curve for the middle. Okay, and then he's usually looking pretty serious. I don't think he smiles much. Maybe he does, but I haven't seen him. So his mouth is usually just a curve. He's just, or maybe if you want him a little more serious, you could curve up. And now he's got a curve on this side of his mouth and this side of his mouth. And then we're going to give him his very old, wrinkly bags under his eyes. These little curves under his eyes. Okay, so you have 2 curves here and 2 curves here. All right, Yoda, you're looking older. I think he is, 400 years old or something crazy. Okay, he also has some bumps on his head, so we can make some wrinkly bumps here. And now on his ears, he also, he has this curve folding over his ear, which looks like this. it curves out and to the end of his ear. And same here, over and out to the end. And then, I don't know where I got these curves. If you want to put the 3 curves inside the ear, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They're like half rectangles. Okay, so there you go. There's Yoda's head. Oh, you know what? He's got wrinkles on his nose too. This is a great picture. Oh, let me take this one and show it close up for Yoda's wrinkly eyes, nose. So we're gonna put in these curves on his nose. So we have about, what, 1, 2, 3 little curves on his nose. Again, if you're drawing in pencil, you can always erase and change it, maybe make them, I feel like these probably should be darker. And then he's even, if you really want to, he's even got some lines under his nose. And if you don't like them, you can always put them on and then take them off. And this really is more like a dark line over his eye, because his eye is kind of deep set in there. Okay, so he's wearing his robe over his brown shirt. That's the pictures that I have him in. So we have under, oh, we'll do his shirt in a minute. Let's do his neck. So from here, we're going to draw 2 curved lines that come out of his head. And then we're going to curve down this side. And you want to figure out how far down you're going to go, because we're going to make this point all the way down here. So on your paper, let's say we're doing like something like this one. My friend Jenny did this. She's another art teacher. And so she put his robe to about here. I'm gonna make it longer. I'm gonna give myself a little dot. Draw a dot and then just go straight down and curve to your dot. Okay, come back up, and what we're going to do is, let's put in his hand here. So we have, so kind of right in the middle of this space, you're gonna come up and you're gonna do an upside down U. So one hand, oh right, this is the one he's like, so he's holding his cane in this picture like this, but with this picture, he's using the force. I'm going to pull the X-wing out of the swamp. Okay, so you're gonna go upside down U, and then his fingers are actually points. So it's 2 points like this. This hand is a little strange because his thumb is actually upside down like this, and he only has 3 fingers. So we're going to draw the part of the palm here that shows. And then you're gonna go down and around for this thumb that's sticking out. Looks a little weird right now, but that's okay. It'll make sense when we add his arm, his robe rather. So if you want, he actually does have claws. In fact, he's got some pretty big claws in this picture. So you can put those on, and then from the side of his hand now, you're gonna curve down like this to your point. The next line, we want to start on the hand. From the hand, we're going to curve here. And what that is, this is the outside of the robe. And I believe that's, oh yeah, that's the inside of where it's drooping. Okay, let's come back up. We'll do his shirt now, and then we can finish this side. So we have a big U right here. This is his, kind of, I guess his part of his brown shirt here. Changed it just a little, I suppose. So I have 2 curves here, and then it's kind of folding over, so there's one more in here. Okay, so this side of his body, you have his shoulder, so you're gonna come out and curve down again. If you would like to make the robe the same length, just take your finger and draw it. Take your finger like an imaginary line and put a dot over on this side. And we're going to curve down again. Make a point. And this time, just curve up a little bit because you're going to need to put his hand here and his cane. And then we'll get to his feet. So this hand is also an upside down U. 3 fingers again. We have 1, 2, 3 points. Again, older kids, you're welcome to make it a little more detailed than that. And younger kids, you could always simplify it. We have a 3 little claws. Okay, now we have to put this cane under his hand. And so what we want to do is we're going to draw, let's draw the straight line of the cane first. So how far down is that going to go? It's actually going to go almost to the bottom of your paper. And then you're going to go over and up. And then we're going to curve under his fingers. It's almost like a candy cane, right? And then you're going to go up. Now, part of the cane you can actually put underneath his fingers if you would like. If you want to just leave it without that, you can. And maybe we'll have some curving lines on this thing. It's old, his old wood cane here. Okay, so now at the bottom, what we need to do is we need room for his feet, and we need to put the bottom of this robe he's wearing. So, let me show this one up close because this is a good one of what we're doing here. So we have his hand is on the cane. Now his robes are down here, and you don't really see his feet that much, but the bottom of his robe looks a bit like this. We're gonna make 2 squarish shapes like this. So jump over your cane for the second one. Oh, and while we're at it, actually, then I just realized we should finish off this hand, which is coming out of his robe. Okay, and his feet are similar to his hands. They almost look like frog feet. So you have 1, 2, 3 points, and you can make them face sideways. So it looks like he's actually standing like this. Now on this side, you're gonna have to jump over your cane to get your foot. So you have 1, let's see, we'll jump over, let's do 1, 2, 3 feet, 3 toes. And I have not seen if he has, oh, he does. He's got claws on his toes. So if you wanna add the claws, go ahead. Yoda has claws on his toes. Okay, in the middle, we have this belt that he's wearing, and it looks like this. It's straight, rectangle, straight, and in the middle of your rectangle here, we're gonna do 2 circles. Small rectangle, 2 circles. Okay, we're missing something. We need to connect the robe here. I made this one a little far out. If you can, you could just erase this and then make it a little bigger to cover this corner. Let's see, I guess I'm gonna have to do maybe some kind of a, maybe I'll have maybe just another layer of his robe here, just to make up for that space. Okay. So for the background, we have this really large swamp tree. If you want to just leave it simple, you could do your Yoda more like this. You could have blue sky, your ground. This is nice because it really fills the space. If your Yoda's a little small, I would definitely suggest doing some kind of background. So I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm going to come down and get wider. And if you have taken my classes before, you will remember trees. We drew so many trees this winter. So, all right, this is not a skinny tree though, because it is not, we're not doing branches. So we're doing a big tree behind him. So don't make it this little teeny weeny tree. That might look a little funny. So he's got kind of this big swamp tree behind him. And so you're gonna come down, and then down here we need our horizon line. And so that's the line again that shows us where the ground and the sky meet, right? So this is the ground, all of this. This is the sky all around your Yoda. Okay, on your tree, this is one of the interesting trees because it actually has a bunch of roots that come out. So we're going to draw a line down the middle of it, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna split it with like another line that comes right off of it, like an A or an upside down V. And then let's do another one of these. And you know what? This can split too. So maybe 2, 3. So maybe about 4 lines in your tree. Try to make them wiggly. Again, if you've taken my classes before, you remember when we draw things straight all the time, it makes things look flat. So we're all about making things look realistic. If you would like to make this tree so big it actually is jumping over Yoda and going off the side, you could do that. I think for now that's probably good because I didn't really make it that wide. Okay, so you just drew Yoda. May the force be with you. Okay, put your name small in the corner. I really try not to write my name up top. When I'm with you, I remind you that when you put words in your picture, then your brain starts to read the words first rather than look at the photo. So, like for this one example, you might look at the whole picture, but your brain wants to read Luke. So try not to put words in your pictures. If you really have to put some words in there, like you really want to write that this is Yoda or Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back, put it small in the other corner. And I have started to date my pictures, so 2020. 2020, okay. So don't forget to, if you drew in pencil, trace in Sharpie. And then don't forget to cap your Sharpie as well so that they stay dry, nice and wet and don't dry out. And then if you are using your watercolors today, you're going to need, hopefully you have a brush somewhere in the house. There is a couple of brushes you could get also on Target.com, which I will add to my website. I did put on there your basic supplies that you could get, but see if you can find a brush in the house. Maybe you have one. And so, you know what? Let me mix a few colors, and I'll show you what you could do with these. And then I'm not gonna paint my whole Yoda, especially because this is not watercolor paper, it's newsprint, so it's not gonna hold the watercolor well. So hold on one sec. Okay, so you have your cup of water and your paint set, and assuming we have our Yoda picture here, what I want to show you is, so you're gonna swirl your brush, and I don't need my little one. I like a medium-sized brush if you have one. So swirl your brush, and why don't we make, you need the light green and a tan. Let's do those. So for the light green, start with your yellow first because it always gets dirtiest quickly. So start with your yellow. You can use your lid to mix it. So put some yellow in there. So each time you're going to swirl your brush, get some color, put it in the lid, swirl your brush again. That's the trick to keeping your colors clean. You could always wash them out at the end also. which I suggest, and then leave them open to dry. Okay, so put your green and your yellow, and that's still kind of on the darker side, so there we go. That's our light Yoda color that we're looking for. Okay, so that's gonna be on his head, and then you can do like the darker green on top of for his ears. And don't forget his hands. His hands would also be this color green too. Okay, so then you'll need your brown. So once you're done with your greens, and you can always leave these in the lid while you're working. So now I would say use this brown would be a good brown for his robe. And we need, let's see, whoops, yellow first. Yellow first, or it gets really yucky, unless you keep a towel. You can also keep a paper towel close by and just wipe your yellow if it starts to get really mucky. Okay, so yellow in the lid, let's make a tan. I'm gonna put a little brown in there. And mix those together. And that's a pretty good tan. Trying to think how, I don't know how well you can see. Okay, so we have the brown for the robe. This would be, yeah, that's a great color for your tan, which would be, I would do the inside of his robe here. Even maybe in here for the shadow here, you could do this color in here. And, right, and then for his cane, we could do the dark brown on the cane. Again, it's not gonna look that great on my picture because this is not a heavyweight paper, drawing paper. So, like I mentioned the other day, you probably wanna be using at least 100-pound paper if you can get it. I just posted that on my website also today. That Target.com has a Crayolas. That Target.com has a pad of about 100-pound mixed media paper. That would be great. I think it's the Strathmore brand if you can't get the, my favorite one. The XL Canson watercolor paper. Okay, so anyway, you've got your greens, you've got your browns, and the only other thing I would say is, and my dog wants to visit me while I'm painting. Okay, greens, brown, let's see. I suppose if you want to do the blue for the sky, we could do that. So you've got some blue here, you could do for your sky. And, oh, the tree. Yes. So for the tree, I actually like to do the brown and the green. So let's try that quick here. And if you have just a piece of paper, just a copy paper, again from mom or dad's printer, you can practice just making some of these colors first before you put them on your real picture. Okay, so so green plus brown, and you know what? Let's see. This is mixing on the paper. That's one way you could do it. So that would be your tree, your swamp tree. Now, so you could do it there, or you could do it on your lid with your green. And my dog is very excited about painting right now. You want to paint Yoda with me? Okay. All right, or you can mix it in your lid. So here's a great kind of like army green for your tree. And again, don't just put in one color for the tree. It's not going to look very realistic. Tends to look kind of boring. So while it's wet, go ahead and take some of your green and just do maybe some stripes in there. Now I've taken the black out of my set because it tends to be too dark and it ruins things. Oh, that was the other thing. You could do a little bit of yellow. And what about maybe a little orange? Make it, that's definitely, that would be an interesting tree. Okay, but the last thing we were talking about was the swamp, the actual bottom of the swamp here. So I would suggest trying a little orange and a little brown and see what you get with that. Now you don't want to go crazy with too much brown in your picture because Yoda is going to be brown with green. So yeah, I would try not to just use straight up brown on your floor and straight up brown on your tree and brown on Yoda. You're going to have a lot of brown. So see if you can mix it with another color. Let's see what happens if we do a tiny bit of yellow for more of that tan color. And there you go. Now that's also an interesting, that would be an interesting swamp floor, which from the photograph I have actually sort of has that, the leaves are down there. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so there you go. So keep going, paint your Yoda, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to click the like button, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I'll be posting again. And have fun. Thanks for joining with me.